Lots of last-second John Cena surprises are being teased, so we'll see what's up there. We'll also get into what's new for Jade Cargill, Tiffany Stratton, and more. Starting things off with some of the rumors and theories that's been going around regarding John Cena's final match. Although John Cena has strongly said that Saturday night's main event is his final match ever, and how he's a man of his word, fans can't help but fantasize about a few surprises and twists to this John Cena versus Gunther match. The big theory we talked about earlier in the week was an idea that came from Bully Ray, which was the idea of The Rock coming out after John Cena's match with Gunther to interrupt the celebration, remind Cena that he still owned his soul, and how he's forcing John Cena to extend his farewell tour to WrestleMania 42 to face The Rock himself. Bully Ray noted that seeing John Cena's career end in Vegas on the WrestleMania stage in a rubber match against The Rock would be a true grand finale match to remember for John Cena. And everyone pretty much loved Bully Ray's idea for the most part. It's a great idea because it directly addresses the massive open-ended plot hole of John Cena's farewell tour. And that's the partnership with The Rock that was made at Elimination Chamber. How can you show The Rock and John Cena joining forces, and then never have the two of them follow that moment up with each other in any way? For a viewer, it's awful. It makes you sort of second guess to care about any angle you see on television, because it can be dropped at any time and never addressed again. And that's happened with The Rock and John Cena. So if something like Bully Ray's idea was to happen, it would be amazing because it's acknowledging that the closing moments of Elimination Chamber did in fact happen, and how it does matter. It'll be the perfect wrap-up to The Rock and John Cena's story from 2025, and a perfect wrap-up to their entire feud that started way back in 2011. The new developing part of this story, and the shocking part, was that the company directly addressed this theory and idea head-on during an article released on their website this week. WWE themselves released an article going over some exciting possibilities and surprises for John Cena's final match. And in that article, they directly talked about the idea of The Rock coming out and forcing John Cena into a WrestleMania 42 match. So that big fan theory has now been officially acknowledged by the company themselves. And if the company themselves are talking about the theory on their website, some people are looking at that as confirmation that the moment is not happening at all. If that's what they were really planning, they wouldn't just display it like that in an article before the event. So the fact they even addressed it and talked about, some fans are really taking that as confirmation that this idea is not happening after all. If it was actually happening, they would have kept their lips tight and not even hint at it. But the fact that they have an article on their website going into great detail about The Rock showing up at Saturday night's main event, everyone is taking that as the dagger to this popular fan theory. So that article really eliminated any chance of this actually happening. It's not happening, but it really would have been this electric finish to Saturday night's main event. John Cena didn't lie. He had the final match of his career under his control, but now The Rock was forcefully making John Cena compete only once more, and that would have been at WrestleMania 42. And what makes that angle work and seem so believable is due to what happened at Elimination Chamber 2025. John Cena sold his soul to The Rock. That's what they told us with that segment back in March. So it would be an insane full circle moment for The Rock to appear on John Cena's final night, to remind him of what happened in March, and book that WrestleMania 42 match right on the spot, get massive hype for WrestleMania started even earlier than normal. If something like that would have happened, it would have erased a lot of the misery that was John Cena's heel turning moment. At least they came back to it in a major way by doing something like that. Ending John Cena's career with that massive twist with the eyes of the entire world watching would have been an insane moment, potentially even bigger than John Cena's heel turn moment itself. An even bigger shock than that moment, John Cena even addressed the rumors and fan theories of his final match getting pushed into WrestleMania 42, and he swore he will not be competing at WrestleMania. So it's just pretty crazy that Bully Ray's idea made it onto the company's website and was acknowledged by them, but it's unfortunate that nothing like that idea is actually taking place after all. Jade Cargill's title reign continued this week in a pretty interesting way. Mia Yim was all dressed up for a match against Jade Cargill, but Jade attacked her backstage, and it's revealed that Jade is in street clothes, not ready to compete at all. It looks like Jade Cargill's character felt like getting dressed for that match really wasn't worth her time, so she didn't even bother putting on her gear. Jade instead walked out to the ring and challenged anyone from the back to come out and get stepped out. Turns it was Mia Yim who answered the call. She gets some big hits on Jade Cargill, but Jade eventually takes over the fight and takes out Mia Yim. And during Jade's closing words to the camera, she once again repeats the same line she's been saying for a few weeks now, and that's how she wants to face some real competition. It looks like Jade isn't satisfied with just taking out B-Fab and Mia Yim. She wants real competition. She wants more competition. They're really building this idea of Jade Cargill being a dominant champion, someone you don't want to mess with, but the main issue is that she needs to face more superstars. She has to walk through bigger superstars for this reign to really feel dominant. She can't just keep slapping around B-Fab and Mia Yim every week to look like a dominant champion. She needs high-profile matches, huge feuds, and massive title defenses. Fans have been begging to see that for several weeks. Even Jade's character herself has been begging for that for several weeks. This week's Smackdown did quickly tease a confrontation between Jade Cargill and Rhea Ripley, which would be a feud that checks off all those boxes we just went over. But the issue is that Jade versus Rhea doesn't seem like it's close to happening. First of all, even though brand split doesn't mean much in current day, Rhea is still a Raw superstar after all. Plus, Rhea has her hands full with her current tag team aspirations. So a Jade versus Rhea feud maybe happens deep into the future, but it's not happening anytime soon, so that's not a possibility right now. It really seems like there's only two options for two major names that can come out any week now to address Jade Cargill and give her that real competition she's been begging for. And those two names are still Bianca Belair and Tiffany Stratton. Tiffany has been off television since her title loss on November 1st, but Tiffany just returned to social media this week. She shared some new photos and even started doing some press runs again for the company. She was recently in Saudi Arabia, confirming that she will be at the 2026 Royal Rumble. So it absolutely seems certain that Tiffany Stratton will be returning to SmackDown either in December or January at the latest. And when she does return, it does make sense for her to come after Jade Cargill, because Jade did not technically beat a fully healthy Tiffany Stratton. Jade beat a compromised version of Tiffany Stratton. So for Tiffany to answer this call of Jade wanting real competition, it seems like it really would be perfect and makes a lot of sense. Likewise for Bianca Belair, Bianca's approach would be different than Tiffany's though. Tiffany's return would include her instantly coming after Jade Cargill, but Bianca's return would probably include her trying to stop Jade and asking her about what has gotten into her. Bianca would probably assume that she's still friends with Jade and try talking her down from attacking the other women in the locker room. But Bianca would learn pretty fast that Jade is no longer friends with her, and it would morph into a feud. And this would be the perfect time for Jade Cargill to throw in Bianca's face how Bianca didn't care when she got hurt in 2024, and how she moved on quickly with Naomi. If Bianca and Jade end up entering a feud together, it sure does seem like we'll get a lot of references from that old 2024 and 2025 story there, with the big three. So until then, it does seem like Jade Cargill will keep dominating these smaller names on the roster, until one of those juggernaut names comes back to stop her. But what are your thoughts on today's stories? Leave your comments below. Don't forget to subscribe with all notifications on, and leave a like if you enjoyed. Thanks for watching, guys.